So Coca-Cola is a company which has survived for more than a century, which includes 2 world wars, 2 global pandemics and several revolutions. So in spite of having many competition over the century, Coca-Cola is still able to survive in the market and it is one of the top companies in the world. This is because of their genius marketing strategy, which might be through their ads and the brand Coca-Cola represent. So how did a company like this lose $4 billion just by a small incident where Ronaldo snubbed Coca-Cola and asked people to drink water instead during a Portugal versus Hungary press conference? So what's good people, welcome to Smart Side and let's get started. Oops, sorry. So as I was saying, Coca-Cola is a company which makes $1 billion a year merely just by selling sugared water. The marketing strategy is so good that they are able to enhance the presentation of the product in the minds of the people. So before we talk about the price drop in Coca-Cola shares, let's talk about the history of Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola is the largest beverage company employing over 7 lakh worldwide. It all started in 1886 in Atlanta, capital Georgia, America, by a chemist named Dr. John Pemberton. Coca-Cola was initially named as French wine of Coca. John Pemberton had an accountant whose name was Frank Robinson, who invented the name Coca-Cola. And he also came up with a beautiful Coca-Cola script, which was also recognized as the company's logo. So by joint effort between John Pemberton and Frank Robinson, Coca-Cola was born. But during the first year, it hardly sold a $50 worth of stock. Coca-Cola didn't get the success initially. Then when John Pemberton was at his deathbed, he had to sell it to Asai Edler in 1891. And Asai Edler's main objective was to put their logo on almost everything. Asai Edler didn't just do a little advertising, but instead he did up mass advertising, where he poured over $100,000 just on advertising. Then later the company, which was making $50 a year in 1886, was now making over 11,000 times by the turn of the century. But a scandal was emerging that could bring the entire company crashing down as in the late part of 19th century. As cocaine was seen as a revolutionary drug, but quickly the things really started going against cocaine. There were scares on the country about cocaine and that became a big problem for the company. In 1903, the New York Tribune ran an expose that linked cocaine to crime all over America. Then they evolved by changing the chemical formula and by selling Coca-Cola in bottles. But the problem was that they could not sanitize these bottles, and so bottled soft drink tended to go bad, and this was about to ruin the bottling operation before it even began. Then they invented a bottle cap, and this kind of bottles were able to be sanitized. Then by 1910, there were Coca-Cola bottling plants all across the country, and they were selling oceans of Coca-Cola. And later another problem arose where the other local companies started to imitate the bottles of Coca-Cola, as there was lack of consistency in Coca-Cola's bottling. And literally there was no difference between Coca-Cola bottles and the other companies' bottles. These bottles were so similar that the customer couldn't even tell the difference. And then the Coca-Cola were losing business because of this. And later the company got so smart and they came up with a new and a unique bottles in 1915. And their advertisement looked something like this.
2 bottles of Coca-Cola. Yeah? Make sure it's Coca-Cola. All them bottles look pretty much alike. Is that Coca-Cola?
Yes, sir. And that's the brand new bottle for Coca-Cola.
But then later again, the war threatened everything as the sugar was going to be rationed and restricted. And they had to curtail their sales by as much as half. Argued that Coca-Cola was a central wartime product, and they would be giving bottles of Coca-Colas to the troops for 5 cents at a time. Though it lost money, but the company was able to associate itself with the war efforts. As a result, the drink was made exempt from sugar rationing in US. And the company even saw an opportunity to expand overseas. And now the question arises, how did a company like this lose up to $4 billion where Ronaldo arrives to attend Portugal's press conference with the manager Fernando Santer, and he spotted 2 bottles of Coca-Cola in front of him and decided to remove them from the camera angle. Even though Coca-Cola is one of the sponsors of Euro 2020, Ronaldo had no problem in putting a stern message across the world as he urged everyone to drink water instead. It has been reported that Coca-Cola's share price dropped from $56.10 to $55.2, taking a 1.6% dip right after Ronaldo's gestures. This saw the market value of the brand going down from $242 billion to $238 billion, which is a drop of $4 billion. So now for example, Warren Buffett owns majority of Coca-Cola shares. Now if he decides to sell his few shares for whatever may be the reason, this results in panic in the market. So fearing the consequences, majority of his followers and the investors sell their shares and Coca-Cola price reduces. So similarly in the case of Ronaldo, he was probably just trying to convey a message that too much sugar isn't good for health or something else. And seeing this, the investor fearing the consequences sell their shares and the stock price of Coca-Cola was dropped.
Your haircut? Notice you've copied my beard.
So Cristiano Ronaldo is a global superstar. So anything he does has implication even off the field. So guys, the prices might even shoot up after a few days. And if you have learned something valuable in this video, please do like the video and please do subscribe to keep yourself updated for our upcoming videos. And see you in the next video.